Fanta was created for the Nazis. I am reviewing book 2 of the Night Watch series, Valhellions, and I really like the lore of the title that was made in this book, so I'll be getting into that. It's made by Tim Akers, and then I will be reviewing Fanta. We've all had some Fanta, orange Fanta, but there is a reason for it. We will see coming up here in the rest of the book. And also, this will be the first of my videos that I don't have a rating. I've been really upset about the ratings and I didn't want to do them for a while, so this is going to be the first of my videos I don't have one, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. Without further ado, let's sip a beverage and get into a book. So in this book, we have ongoing joke from the first book about zombies, where both Chessa and John need to not think about zombies when they're creating their domains, but all they could think about was zombies now because they were telling themselves that they shouldn't think about zombies. Well, this book, Valhellions, is chock full of zombies, ironically, and some of them are German World War II Nazi zombies. There's also a lot of references to orange soda, a Viking drinking it and thinking it's mead, so that's why the orange sodas I felt like was really appropriate for this video. Fanta was created for the Nazis. Germans love orange soda. The Nazis went to Coca-Cola and said, hey, can you make us an orange soda? And Coca-Cola was like, yeah. And so that's how Fanta was created. So like a lot of American companies have been very shady, especially in past wars. So yeah, the story of how Fanta came about is actually because of Nazis. So moving on, let's enjoy some soda. Thanks, Germany. It's delicious. As you know, Fanta is probably the best orange soda on the market. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I do. I really hate Crush. This is very tasty. Delicious mead, honeyed mead. Getting into the book, I thought it was really cute how they were at the beginning, they were at a Renaissance fair again, but it was mistitled Renaissance, and the characters poke fun at the fact that it was misspelled. And we have John, Chessa, but now we have Sir Gregory, who has Chessa as a love interest, so it made for a very funny and interesting dynamic throughout the entire book that her love interest is one of her co-workers. I felt like this book explored a little bit more the relationship between John and Chessa, which I think that's kind of why as a reader I'm kind of hanging on. I think that Chessa's an oddly likable character because she's very strong, right? But she's also kind of rude, and she says the funniest things at the right time directed towards John. And this is the kind of book that people are going to be saying one-liners, funny things during battles and while people are dying. This is just the kind of book it is. Ragnarok has come, and they need to go to Valhalla, which I actually really liked that arc. They need to go to Valhalla so they can be able to interact with sort of the manager of Valhalla to kind of prevent the end of the world. So Esther goes with them on their Viking toenail ship and they go to Valhalla. Things aren't really what they seem. People just, you know, kind of play volleyball with a severed head all day long or whatever. John Rast had thought that this was going to be his heaven with beautiful Viking women, and it ends up being more of a show for the girls. There's a lot of dialogue about the, you know, having to prevent the end of the world, and then eventually, not to give too much away, but they end up just wanting to bring the end of the world sooner so they could do it before the other guys do it. So I thought that was a really funny spin on things too. I think that there was some plot issues. I feel like the thing about it, I never take Tim Akers' novels, their plot is not the main show. Really the scenery, the way the characters interact with each other, the kind of the way it feels. I think the plot is always there, especially in Wraithbound. That was a really fun one, but even in the last book, I didn't really feel like the plot was as sound as it could have been. I felt like it was more just supposed to be a funny trip down into this weird world. I think in the second book, it's getting a little harder to ignore that because you have some consistency issues where the villains keep changing. I feel like in the first book, the Harpies were kind of like the main you know, for a while I was like, okay, the Harpies, we're focusing in on them. It's a Harpy villain as Storm Goddess, and then they kind of just fall away at the end, and then we have a completely different villain, and we still don't kind of know a lot about him. And this one, our villain, it's hard to determine who he is, and that's part of the plot, to not know. But I think after a while, it just got kind of frustrating as a reader. Well, I audiobook this one, but it got kind of frustrating in the audiobook because you have all these scenes, you have all these sort of skirmishes, right? Because there are mini showdowns, and there's so much of them that the actual real battle and end scene becomes and feels anticlimactic. So it just feels like it was a little low end of exciting because of the fact that there was just so much sword clashing throughout the entire book. And some of the things felt very similar and very, very repetitive in a way. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy the battle scenes. I did, because I'm in it for the humor. And this is something that I'll listen to like while I'm cleaning up the house or relaxing, having a very chill day, not looking for anything serious to read, which is why this series I would continue to read no matter what, even with the plot inconsistencies. The only thing that really got me is that I don't know if the World Dog ever got his second installment of bacon. So there's this gigantic dog, which is basically a lot of dogs that come into one, which I really, really love this concept. It's one of the most exciting things about this second Night Watch novel is the dog. And I feel like it's such an adorable character. I kind of wished more of the book was about the World Dog. This dog can lead them to where Fenrir is. But the idea is that this dog will not do it. It's a very deadly thing, but they tempt him with bacon. And the dog isn't very smart, but it's also very cute. He does it. He goes and takes the bacon and takes the bait and takes them where they need to go. My problem is, I don't know if I missed it. I kept going back and looking through the audio. I don't think I did. I really felt bad that the World Dog didn't get his bacon, you know? Like maybe bacon could have rained down from the sky for him or something. I mean, it's very possible that I just missed it, but I don't think I did. So I do also like the domestic zombie. I won't go too much into that, but the gardening, bowl washing zombie was very cute as well. Aside from the plot issues, I did enjoy Valhellions. Valhellions named after these Vikings, these Valkyries from Valhalla, but instead of calling them Valkyries, Esther nicknames them Valhellions because for some reason legally she's not allowed to call them Valkyries or something of the sort. I sort of love the genre where characters are just really interesting and they're exploring a world, and something that really struck me is that this was more of kind of like a D&D campaign gone wrong to a Valhalla. That's what it felt like, and that's why I liked it, is because you have the mage, you have the healer, you have the ward, you have the main knight, you know, you had all the characters. And the D&D references were heavy and thick in this book, so I mean, it was definitely part of the writer's intention. So the reason why I stopped ratings, because things like Charles Dickens are probably going to come up later on in this channel, along with some military treatises as well. So like I've read the Book of Five Rings, I've done Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I want to talk about these things because these are things that I really enjoy, and I want to talk about my favorite quotes from those books. And you can't really rate the Book of Five Rings. That's not really something you do. You either like something like that or you don't. So I think that things like Goodreads and of course Amazon and Barnes & Noble, they want ratings. People want to know how much people are liking the book, but I don't think ratings are fair, especially for older books. So I've just decided to stop doing ratings entirely. And I know a few other bookstagrammers, people on Instagram that I watch regularly, they just stopped doing ratings too, because after a while it doesn't really make sense, because every book is different. These authors put an enormous amount of time into them, and you know, they're still very enjoyable no matter what. So I think books aren't like a drink where it's just good or bad or somewhere in between. It's more like it's a journey. I have favorites, but the rating doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. If you like sort of lit RPG if you like Dungeons and Dragons, if you like Renaissance fairs, if you like characters of this nature journeying to places like Valhalla with Vikings, I would say this book is for you. I think that if you haven't read the first book in the Night Watch series, I don't think it does an enormous amount of damage. I think that the author did a good job of explaining the things that happened before. I think you can kind of tell what's happening here. Some of the items, like the shield that John is using, you'll have to get used to it because you may not know enough about it, but he's also getting used to his shield as well. So you're kind of learning with him. He hasn't been in this world long enough to know everything. So it's kind of a discovery novel in that way. So even if you haven't read the first one, I'd say you can jump into this one because it's more for the humor and to see the characters interact. It's nice to see, it's nice to go to these places because Akers does a really good job of putting you in a scene and putting you in a different world, and also getting the feel of what the environment is, really the feel of the people, what is the vibe being around these people, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was an excellent book, made me laugh. I want more of the World Dog. I doubt the Eccentrics will have more World Dog, but oh goodness, would I love it. As for the Fanta, I am gonna rate my drinks though, because drinks can suck, as we know from the matcha drink I drank yesterday. I really love Fanta, so this is like a 5-star drink. It's solid, classic. Was for the Nazis, now it's for the Measies. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. I do like giving these little tidbits, things that people didn't know. So yeah, Fanta was created for the Nazis. I have a lot of things coming up. Stay tuned. Also, all these things on my shelf. I don't know if we could do that, but we're going to be doing these things in May, along with some indie artists, one book, which is Vita's Prayer, and then David Hankins, amongst other things. So yeah, stay tuned, and The Eccentrics is coming soon. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Please let me know if the World Dog got his bacon. If I missed it, I would love to go back, tell me what chapter. I know the first time he got his bacon, but I would like to know the second time he got his bacon, because that, for me, is really important, apparently. So, that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you're having a good day, or you will have a good evening. Take care.